Okay. I'm Ashley Berkeen with Mental Mismanagement here with my hosts,
Pat Fitzgerald.
And we have a treat for you today. We have Don Kuhn in the waiting room. He is with Blue Haven Pools. He is their designer. They are the largest pool builder in the country. So we are so excited to have him here. So let's not waste any more time to have this conversation. Please welcome Don Kuhn to the studio. All right. Hey, Don.
Where's my clap button at?
Oh, I don't know. Where's working that?
There it is.
There you go. Yay.
You have sound effects?
Yeah, I've got sound effects and everything, man.
That's sweet.
So, Don, you have been listening to Mental Mismanagement, even though we've been out for a short period of time, and you wanted to come on if we had time. And of course, we had time. So explain to us kind of what was so attractive about Mental Mismanagement before we dive into the topic.
Well, I mean, I work with Pat quite a bit. Pat and Ashley.
We work a lot together, yeah.
I actually met a couple of years ago. And so, we worked a lot, been listening to the podcast and just seeing, nobody talks about the behind the scenes reality of what we deal with, not just business ownership, but sales or any aspect of work, so going, dealing with customers and just, people look at you and they're like, oh, wow, you're successful. That's easy. I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's so much that they don't see or hear. Family side, just the mental aspect behind it. Just listening, and it's been great this whole time. Just like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, and thanks for understanding that the behind the scenes are just as important, I think, as in front of one, so that you're not alone in that, right? Oh, yeah. But then two, I think even it's preparing themselves for business instead of listening and seeing all the stuff that's out there that's just motivational and inspirational. Like there is an ugly side to it that you have to work through.
Yeah, nobody posts the ugly side. That's the crazy part. Nobody ever posts the ugly side. I mean, even prepping for this, I mean, there's an ugly side to this that me and Ashley go through on every single one of them. It's like, okay, do we have this? Do we have the names right? Do we have so we go through that.
Yeah.
They don't realize how hard it is to keep your hands out of the screen.
So true. You'll see my hands in the screen a lot. But
leave it down.
But continue with that topic though, Donna, why you were so interested. Patty and I have brought this up on different podcasts where I said everybody has their worst day in business. They just don't always share it with people. So I want to have that conversation. So I have a question for you guys to answer. Imagine you could go back and change one moment in your business. What would it be and why?
You first. Don't look at me like that. You're the guest.
I'm just looking at the screen and you just happen to be across from me. With me, just, starting sooner, I kind of fell into this career and it is amazing that I got the opportunity I did, but if I could have started sooner.
Well, okay. So that's an easy one, Don. Everybody wants to start sooner. Everybody's like, oh, if I would have made an extra $1 million last year, it would have been. Yeah, if we would have started sooner, if I would have been an entrepreneur in my 20s versus my 30s, it would have been great. The one thing I think I would have done different, I would have listened.
Oh, that's good.
I would have listened. I would have not thought myself to be so knowledgeable, and I would have listened. Most of what I've learned through the hard knocks. It's crap. I can't do that ever again. Or you screw something up at a customer's house and it costs you $10,000. Okay, well, I ain't gonna do that again. Because you think you know what you're doing, or you think you've got this under control. I just wish I would have listened.
That's good too. I think that so now let's. When I started, I was always designing by hand,
Okay.
I was intimidated to go to the computer side of things. I hate technology, hate computers, but the way that the world is today is you got to have that.
Yes.
We can't get out of it, I don't think.
So have I been successful doing it by hand? Of course. But how many did I miss because I'm going up against a 3D design and I have a hand draw? And I just last year self-taught myself how to do it. So I do it all by computer now, and now there's no.
I was going to say it was pretty recent for you.
Yeah. It just started.
I remember that because a lot of what I would get was all hand drawings. I'm like, darn,
it's to scale. Yeah,
it's to scale. I'm like, this is cool.
We're actually making fun of that. We went back and looked at some of my first few that I sold. And I'm like, I don't know why anybody in the world would have bought that. no way, you know.
Isn't that crazy?
You know, colored in blue with marker.
We did the
Here's
same
water,
thing
you know.
for the longest time. We were doing the same thing the same way. And yeah, you go back and you look at it, you're like, I actually sold that?
Yeah, 100%.
So is that why you decided to go digital? Because I'm like you. I want something tangible. Like if somebody says, hey, we have this new app that you should download, but I'm like, no more apps. Like I don't want to mess with it. And that's an app. That should be easy, right? So what was it that made you be like, okay, I need to evolve?
Market. I mean, every time you go out to a customer's house, they've got 3 or 4 computer drawings in front of them. And I'm coming in with the hand design. Now, yes, there was advantages to that as well, but the disadvantage is everybody's need a visual. So you're pulling out your phone, you're showing them, oh, that's what this looks like. Oh, that's what this looks like. Come into my showroom, I have a pool, I can show you there. But now when you design it in 3D and you show them, like you build the house with their windows and their door, and they see their yard, and that pool is now inserted into their yard.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Game over. There's no, hey, my budget was X amount. Now we're 50 times higher. I don't care because of the visual aspect.
Makes total sense.
If I could have started that 4 or 5 years ago, who knows?
That's cool. That's cool that you recognize that you kind of needed to make that change to better. I mean, not that you couldn't crush it doing hand design, right? But to make that change so you can go to the next level of your business, very, very cool.
And it doesn't help that my owner's old school and wanted all the hand draw, but you know, everybody kept
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So my owner's the one that taught me how to do that. He was old school. There was one guy in the country. He was number 1 in the country from Florida, and he's a hand drawer. So he's like, I want you to be like him, like him, like him, like him, like him. Well, that market's completely different than our market. It doesn't work the same. You know, down there, he would go sit in front of the customer and draw it right in front of them.
You know, we're literally called the Show Me State.
And here,
so they want to see that CAD drawing of their house, their backyard, all their stuff. So hand drawing that wouldn't really work.
Didn't work. I mean, did it work? Yes, but did I miss them? Oh, I'm sure. You know, you're competing against everybody else that has it. Oh, here's a piece of paper with squares on it. Each square's a foot, you know. So
could that serve you though? Like, I don't know how your process is with this, but if I called you out and I said I want an in-ground pool, I don't really know what I want, but I want a grotto or a pool or a slide, right? But I don't really have a vision like in my head of what I want. Would it serve you though to like have a clipboard and like kind of sketch out while you're doing the bid, so you can say, well, this is essentially, I'll give you a better rendering of it, but this is essentially what you could get? Yeah,
I mean, and that's what we do is while I'm out there, I'll kind of just do a little hand sketch. Now, obviously, you're going to get a full design, but that will put the initial thought in their mind. But it also helped me too. So if I would have started on computer, it would have taken a lot longer to learn.
Oh, sure.
You think so?
Now, for sure. Because now I'm just doing a hand drawing on computer. It's the same grid. It's the same everything. It's just by computer. So luckily the system helps, but
that's pretty wild.
If I could have done it 2 or 3 years prior, for sure.
Very, very.
Game changer.
So I have a question. So you're kind of seasonal like us-ish, right? Like the bulk of your business is probably not
like Don himself.
I thought you were saying or like old. Like no,
yeah. I was thinking. I was like,
no, you're not.
Wait a minute, you're not. Hang on a second. I'm not old. Hang on a minute.
Well, first of all, I'm not in his category either, so I'm going to sit on this side of the room with Don.
All right, let's just say it. How old is everybody in here?
36.
37.
Screw you guys.
It's actually the ongoing joke
42.
with my fiance. Her stepdad is named Don, and it's always been the only Don. Now I come in, I'm like, well, you're the old Don, and I'm young and fresh Don. So
whoa,
we'll just settle this right now.
You're the new guy.
That's great.
I love that. So being seasonal like us, what is that like for you when it comes to the end of the year, your busy season over? We have to manage our money the appropriate way, right? And I say that. I don't know how you manage your money.
You just pawn a few things till spring and you're good to go, right?
Manage money. I don't really know.
Yeah. Did you see what he pulled up in?
Yeah. Right. But like I think there's a mental side to the financial side when you're a seasonal person. Like that's your income, right? Because you get to if you don't manage your money correctly, there's a heavy head trash on those down seasons. Specifically in the beginning when you start seasonal work. So what has that been like for you? Or you just always been perfect at making sure it lasts all year long?
So the money management side of it isn't really that big of a factor, just because my owner, he's been a huge mentor, huge help. You know, I just build up a book and pay myself throughout the winter. You know, it's kind of like a teacher, right? So a teacher will get paid all their money before summer, and then they got to manage it for those 3 months.
Yeah.
Not me. Yes, we're slow in the winter times. October to February, much slower than March through September,
Of course.
but I don't take it all out at one time. I just pay myself the same throughout the year so it can roll over. So if we do have a lull, like happens in our industry,
yeah,
it's okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, we get things like, economy changes, election years we were just talking about. Anything like that can change the amount of income you have going on, especially in the construction world, the pool industry. I mean, the pool industry, come wintertime, it's kind of hard to do any pools. So,
right. And I think the biggest downfall to the seasonal aspect is the mental side of it. Like you guys have already talked about in previous weeks, but March through September, you're working 18 hours a day, 24 hours a day, boom, 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 boom. Well, I don't know how to not work that. So when it comes down to like November and December, and it's like, you mean I don't have to work for 3 days? Like, I don't know what to do because I'm so involved into work and constantly available. Yes, there's still work to do, but it's going from 18 hours down to like a 6-hour day. Like, I don't know. What do I do with the rest of my time? It's almost
so what
like
does
I
that
feel
do
like
to
I
your
want another
mind?
job. It's not good because now we're starting to get busy again. Now I've been on that downside for so long, and now I've got to pick back up and get my body prepared to do that.
You've got to get remotivated to actually work
100%. Yeah, that's the hard part.
Wow, that's
keeping
tough.
yourself motivated and keeping yourself like, hey, yes, I'm fine. I'm still getting paid, but I'm also like, there's so much more time in the day. What can I do to?
Yeah.
And you're a busybody to begin with,
100%.
so yeah. So, okay, so what do you do? The end of your day, your day's done. You're ready to go home. You're whatever it is. How do you decompress at the end of the day?
This is actually we talk about this all the time with my fiance. It's if I walk into my house, game's over. Plain and simple. I could be go. I can get. I'm a morning person. Like I'm the person that alarm goes. I'm not. I've been listening to you, and I'm like way opposite. Right? That alarm goes off. I mean, I am up, jumping around, like get up, like I'm that person.
Thank God you don't live with me. I
but
couldn't handle it.
On the flip side of the coin, and I can go all day long. But the moment I walk in my door, for some reason, it's like a ton of bricks. Like I'm gonna go take a nap right now. Like I don't want to get. I don't know if it's the comfort of the house. It's like, sure, I'm here. So like I couldn't be that person that works from home. I have the option to do that. I can design at home, do everything.
But you've got to have the structure to go to, and
there's no way. My mind physically just can't do it. Like if I go to my office, I can sit in my desk, work 20 hours straight, not get up, and just boom, 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 boom. But if I do it at my kitchen table. What's around me? There's a refrigerator over there. I can, do this and do that. I just can't do it. I get it, and that's you have to control your mind to be able to do that, or motivate your mind, or it's just it's impossible. Get into like the behind the scenes of our jobs, right? So we always have our phones with us. We're customer, at all times. So for me, I guess it's more of a pet peeve because the reality is I always have my phone. If I don't reply to you, I'm ignoring you. So I look at it the other way around. If you don't,
that explains a few things.
Ignoring me, right? Or I mean, even if I'm with a customer or something, if I don't respond within a couple hours, there's a good chance that I'm ignoring. Sometimes I forget, but generally not. Or but so I don't like when people don't reply to me. I have to understand, like, hey, they're not like, maybe they don't have their phone. Like my fiance's terrible with their phone. It drives me nuts. I'm just like, you have to have she literally doesn't ever have her phone. Like, I can't handle that.
We've gone to that whole, especially having a studio and everything that we have. We've gotten away from always answering the phone. It's like, look, we have studio hours, 8 to 4:30. The phone will be answered. After that, we're off. If it's an emergency, we have an emergency line. You can call and we'll get it taken care of. Outside of that, we're done. We go home. It's family time now. But you got to think that's 9-10 years in the making before we got to that point. Yeah, it didn't happen overnight.
But on that end, though, right? Most people work 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever. Most people, right? And Ryan and I go rounds and rounds on this when it comes to Extreme because I'm always like, we have business hours, which we've talked about before. But his argument is always, most people don't get off till 5, so I can't do bids because they're not home until 6, 7, 8, right?
Okay, when it came to bids, I was the one that was out till 8 o'clock at night doing bids, and I totally agree with that. But something in that dynamic has changed over the past couple of years, especially
COVID.
after COVID. Okay,
There it is. I was
exactly.
getting ready to
Yeah,
say it. Yep.
that there are more and more people working from home. We don't bid past like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. My bids are from like 8 to 2 now.
Well, not only that is, in my eyes, if they're not willing to make time for you,
Yeah,
it's not going to go
they're
anywhere.
yeah,
anyway.
it's yeah.
What do you mean you can only meet at 7:30 on a Tuesday? There's no way. You know what I'm saying? So I can only meet on a Saturday. That's generally not accurate, right? So they're just wasting.
Right.
So
They're just wasting
You have
time.
to set boundaries, and I had to learn that you have to set boundaries as to when people can reach.
So do you turn off your phone when you get home?
Never. That's my downside. Again, that goes back to separating work from personal life. It's hard for me to do that because I feel I am successful because I am readily available. You know, and I hear that all the time. My customers like, hey,
yeah,
if I need you, your answer. You know, even when I'm on vacation. Hey, Don, I know you're on vacation, but blah 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 blah. I'm like, hey, I'll get back to you Monday, and then like an hour later, I'm like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. You know, I just can't. I can't do it. And everybody always tells me like they will survive. It will be okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People, but to me, I can't get myself.
That's the
really
mental
away
side
from
of it.
that 100%.
Yeah.
And it's probably not healthy, but
there's
same
probably
time,
a
I
lot
feel
of
like
studies that agree with you.
I earn business off it too, but I also don't want to ruin a home life either. So I mean, I definitely make time. I'm not 100% work. I give but
Your book of sales, they're good, right?
Oh, sure.
You've got great income. You have a steady life.
Yeah.
Family's good.
Yep.
So why?
Well, I guess that mental part is like, if I didn't do this, then I'm not, so that's where
Are you afraid of missing something?
Yes. I think that missed opportunity.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
After all this time and
losing, fear of, yeah. Oh, if I don't respond, and people like, even like my superintendent, when I call him, he doesn't because he's at home with the family. I'm like,
yeah,
but I'm trying to get an answer for a customer. I'm like, oh, I can't get an answer, so I'll give it to you tomorrow. Now I'm up thinking about that all night long. My mind's turning, and it's hard to separate from that.
Wow.
So that's where that 24 hours a day comes in.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that maybe some of that head trash is like either you've lost business in the past because you didn't answer? Because I'm telling you right now, the other pool guys, they're not answering their phone on Saturday and Sunday either.
No.
So you're not going to lose out on the job necessarily, right?
No, I don't. I know, but I don't know. For some reason, that's just the way that am I losing out on it? No, but do I gain from it? I think so.
Oh, I'm sure.
I absolutely think I gain from it.
Sure.
The other guys I work with, they're great. They work hard, just as many hours, but Pat, for example, he's the guy that trained, not this Pat, different Pat. He trained.
Wouldn't be me.
He sets his boundaries and he lives by those, and he does great. He very successful, money wise, business wise, etc. But me, I want to be the guy that's always at the top. So I feel like I have to do that in order, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if that's a sales driven mind or if that's a ADD mind or if that's my, whatever that is.
I mean, arguably that's what I would think most people would probably say. It makes you at the top, is willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I was thinking the same thing. That's why you're in the position you're in. That's why you've made it to the spot you've made it to. But I think on a health standpoint, or even in a mental standpoint, at some point you've got to unplug. You've got to say, I'm with the family. If it's that big of an emergency, if your pool is sliding down the hill right now, okay, fine, I'll answer this.
Yeah.
But if it's not, I'll call you back in the morning when I get to the office.
We were just in Disney, and it was actually a good trip. Didn't have to do anything during work the whole time. And then like the last couple of days, I got a call, and I'm like, this pool better be on fire, right? And legitly, it was on fire. Like the box on the outside.
Are you kidding me?
There was a cardboard box sitting outside. I think a spark hit it, caught it on fire.
Oh my
God.
God.
It's never happened before. I was like, okay, you win that one. But
do some pretty cool projects. We've been a part of some pretty cool ones with you guys. What would you say? How do I say this? What is probably the most rewarding side of what you do? What gives you that euphoric feeling when you're doing it?
So that's why I'm in the job that I'm in now. I came from I've always done sales, military, then sales. previous sales jobs were just behind a desk on a phone.
Yeah.
And talk about screwing your mind. That's what it was. You know, you take 100 phone calls a day, get cussed out 95 times, but the 5 times that you didn't, money's too good to walk away from it.
Yeah.
But it ruins your personal life. It ruins your mentality. I mean, you're just getting brutally beaten down, you know. Now it's face to face. Every yard's different. Seeing that project come to light. I mean, we're doing one right now where there's a grotto with a slide going through it. And it's just like, I am just waiting for that one to get done because it is that awesome. And knowing that you designed that and you made it come to life. And then seeing, I think one of the biggest rewards is, you know, customers 5-6 years ago met their family, met their kids, built their pool. They come back into the showroom and those kids are now 5-6 years old.
Right.
And it's like, you remember me, I built your pool. And they do. And they talk about all the memories that they make and every summer that they look forward to. Like, can't wait to open that pool up. You know,
It's rewarding.
Yeah, no better job.
Let's go back into that sales piece that you talked about, because you did talk about the ugly side. You like kind of flashed through the ugly side of sales a little bit, because now you're selling something that you're passionate about and you get to have relationships with the clients now, where before you didn't. And I've worked in a call center before, so I know what the nightmare is. Oh, yeah. But talk a little bit about, because guys, even if you don't own a business, right? Like you're not LLC'd, but you're a salespeople, which is what that's your business, in my personal opinion. You're, there is so much head trash that comes with being a salesperson, or even using that term salesperson, right? So share some of those experiences with us.
You actually prefer designer,
yeah. I don't like
versus salesman or something like that. Yeah,
because just the economy, the world looks at sales as that old school car
snake,
badger. You know,
yeah.
That's not it. I mean, you know, we just did this like experiment. Think about a salesman and write down all the things about him, and everything's negative, liar, this.
Yeah.
In all the years I've done sales, I can honestly say I've never made bad money. You know,
sure.
Even in the call center, I came from a car warranty world. Everybody gets those phone calls, right? I had a
the car warranty world. You're the guy that keeps asking that.
Yeah, they make memes about you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, you get cussed out 95 times a day, but there's so many shady people in that industry. It puts a bad name for the ones that aren't.
Yeah,
you know. And I even had that discussion with my owner at the time. He's like, "Your job is just to get credit cards." I'm like, "No, it's not. If this 90-year-old woman doesn't know what she's doing, I'm not taking her card. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Good for you.
Because I can sell the good ones, right?" And then they would just run through a script or a recap real fast so they wouldn't catch things. No way. You know, there's a reason why I would sell, 100 a month and stick 90 a month, where some people would sell 130 and stick 50. Well, if it doesn't stick, what's the point? And that was the dispute that we had. So I don't like the term salesman. I don't like being called, because it looks bad,
Yeah.
In the
there's been the
eyes.
stigma in the world on a salesman. I mean, it's on every, used car salesman is the butt of every joke out there when it comes to anything sales. It's all about the used cars. And yeah, I've never liked that. I mean, even what I do, I'm in sales. I mean, that's what I do. I sell my business on a daily basis,
Well, when you go out and you meet people in your face to face, you tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, absolutely.
Sales, a lot of them will just tell you the good, and then it gets to construction and the ugly comes in and they're like, "Well, I wasn't told that."
No, we talk so much about, we talk probably more about the ugly than we do the good. I mean, they know what the good is. They're expecting the good. They don't know about the ugly. So we try to inform people about the ugly side of construction more than anything else.
Yep.
I think that's how we're going to change the stigma about sales, is being transparent up front with people.
100%.
And not being that robotic sales tactic person.
Well, I think salesmen think that if they are telling them the bad, they're not going to buy. That's not true. You're going to get way more sales from people being honest.
Yes.
Than you are not being honest.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I've always taken pride into. And maybe that's another reason why I do so well, because, first thing I'll tell them, hey, that driveway, I'm going to access it. I'm probably going to break it. Sorry, but I got to get to the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your yard's going to be torn up. If somebody tells you that it's going to be nice and simple, no. It's going to be like a bomb exploded back here. Now, there's going to be a pool when we're done, so it's...
Yeah, well, you're gaining trust.
We do the same thing.
Trust. Yeah.
Yep. That's crazy.
Well, because in reality, we're, like you said, Patrick, I sell in my business. We all sell. in
Yeah,
every
of course.
aspect of our life. Like if you're married, you're reselling why your husband should stay at home or why your wife should not tolerate your BS, right? Like you're selling that every
I sell
single
myself
day.
to my wife every day.
And that's the other thing too, is it's hard to turn that off. You know how many times I've been told, don't rebuttal me. I'm not rebuttaling you. You're wrong.
Okay, but on the other end of that, when I lived in a subdivision, people used to knock on my door. I would be tickled pink for their sales stuff. Because I either be like, oh, they're new at this or they've done this. And if they were really good at it, I would try to hire them and be like,
Yes.
hey, I know some people. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, or I would let them sell me knowing I was never going to say yes.
Well, that's the opposite of me, because if they were really good, I'd feel bad enough. Okay, yeah. What are you selling? I'll buy it, I guess.
Oh, don't
I'm
get
the
it
easiest
twisted.
person to sell.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And I know all the tricks.
And
That's
I
the
do
worst
too.
part.
I'm like, I know they can discount it down, but I'm just gonna lay down. Because really good,
Do you
know?
think it's because you've been told no though as a salesman?
I think maybe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
that,
You know that feeling.
I was just actually in the process of fixing my credit, and I was calling and making a payment. I was like, I know they can discount this, and they wouldn't. I was like, fine, here's my card. I don't care. I'm tired of fighting you. I know I could keep going.
Yeah.
People do it to me all the time, but I
Yeah.
think that's
Yes.
fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give them that hard time.
But I was sold by again, married to the GC, which is also a thing in its own because they don't ever want to work in their own house.
I don't.
I
know
get
what
it.
You're talking
I
about.
get it. You don't want to come home and work. I totally understand that, right? That's why I live in
No.
construction since I've been married. But I remember this guy came to the house and I wanted a new deck and there's just no time for it. And so his sales thing to me though was the way he got me is he said, oh, I know you're married to a GC like you said, but does he really have time to do this? And then I was
Oh,
like,
what a
absolutely
snake.
not. He doesn't, right?
Oh,
So
he knew,
well, here's
man.
what's funny, I schedule appointment. Ryan is the decision maker in our household. That's his role. So I put his number on the stuff. Well, they called him to confirm the day before the appointment, and he said, "My wife is stupid. I am a contractor. I can build it myself." And hung up on him, and he was like, "Don't do that stuff." And I was like, "No, it was really, really good. He got me." Like,
I'm gonna let you tell them no. That's usually how it works with me too. Like
Right.
she doesn't want to tell them no, so will
Yeah.
you call them and tell them like, no, you were on the phone. Say no.
No, see, it's the opposite. My wife, she'll be the first one. She'll be like, "You're out of your mind," and hang up on him, or slam the door. I'm like, "You didn't even listen to what they're doing." She goes, "I don't care."
Yeah. See, I don't have that power.
Girl Scout cookies
Wow.
are the worst. I can't say.
Oh, okay. So I get in trouble every year because like they don't come up our street or they don't knock on our doors because I mean we're 8 acres. There's 200 acres between me and the
Yeah.
neighbor. Nobody's walking down my road. So I'll catch them at gas stations or Walmart.
Instacart saves your life. Trust me. I purposely don't go to Walmart and Instacart so I don't have to see them because I won't tell them no.
Yeah, I
Man,
can't tell him no.
Well, so they've gotten worse because I don't go to Walmart, but I go to the gas station. Now they sit outside the gas station. So 3 cases of Thin Mints later. You can ask my wife. We'll have Thin Mints for the entire year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the only one that eats them. Nobody else likes the Thin
well,
Mints.
I don't have that
I don't like
issue.
them either.
My boys just devour. I have to get each kid a box.
Oh, yeah.
You know how often I go to the store because I forget ADHD. And no, I don't make lists, so don't put that in the comments. That's an idea.
Seriously,
I
you
forget
don't
the
make
list
lists?
at home. No, I forget the list at home. Why? I'm not
Oh,
wasting
so you
time.
make the list, but then you forget the list.
Yeah, so now I just don't make the list.
Why don't you just put it on the phone?
Because I also don't want to do this the whole time.
Well,
either.
that's the problem too. Is you have the list, or you put it on your phone, then you're in Walmart, and a customer calls,
Yes.
and then you're just in Walmart. Not even.
Yes.
No, it's just terrible.
Yes.
It's awful. It's
And
awful.
then if I have to make the list, I have to make it where everything is in the store because I want to go from one side to the end. I don't want to go back and forth because I can't stand people like that in Walmart. The people of Walmart are the worst. Okay. The anxiety that they give me. I literally
I tell you what, I'm
Dude.
feeling really good about this episode. I feel like I'm like the normal one finally.
Thanks for the invite.
You're welcome. Anytime.
I mean, it's this whole thing because part of ADHD is getting triggered by stuff when you get frustrated, and
absolutely.
rude people trigger me, and everybody be rude at the grocery store. Do you know what I mean? They have no social, spatial awareness, whatever.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. So I get triggered, and then I'll be going viral for beating somebody up in the shampoo aisle, like that one lady. So I go at 7 a.m. when it's
Missed
only
that
old
episode,
people.
I guess.
Yeah. I go at 7 a.m. when nobody's there so that I can deal. But
I think-
Instacart's great.
Well, so Katie, my fiance, I stopped saying my fiance. Katie, she doesn't like being in big crowds, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't either to an extent, but I can handle them.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't like it, and I had to understand that,
Yeah.
I think the thing that made the most sense is when we were at Disney. We were on that one of the roller coaster, rock and roller coaster. I don't know if you've ever ridden it.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
you're in the roller coaster, and then you have all the sound and music playing. And she's like, that sound, that music, that ride, that's the anxiety in my head. That's what so when I'm
All day
telling
long.
you I'm overly anxious, or I need to take a step back and just kind of cool off, that's what's going on in my head. So that feeling that you had in that roller coaster, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Space Mountain, because I didn't do it. It was Space Mountain, that one. Because you're really tight in the ride. And she's like, I had to get out of there.
Horrifying.
So when I tell you we're in a lot of people and I need to go, this is what I feel. I'm like, wow, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it helps you kind of understand her a little bit better.
You know, and it's crazy. Not a lot of people can even talk about that. That's actually really good that she can tell you and talk to you about that type of stuff, because most people are afraid of the stigma, you know, and that's unfortunately even still today. I mean, as much awareness as we're trying to put out about this stuff, there's still that stigma that everybody has of mental health. Okay. And that's the whole purpose of this entire podcast that we came up with, is to explain that. And I like to say it as, I've said it before, the ones that aren't taking the medication are the crazy ones, but just to make people aware that it's kind of a facade we put on half the time.
Yeah.
It's just it's a mask. It's a face that it's I'm fine. Here we go again. You know, I'm fine. No, you're really not. You're struggling, but nobody cares, or you feel like nobody cares, I should say. So you just kind of keep rocking and rolling. But to actually, for her to be able to say, look, this is how that feels to me, for you to actually be able to get a sensation of what that's like, that's huge.
Well, sure, because there's, mine is, I'm opposite, right? So, which we can balance each other out, of course. So it would frustrate me because I don't understand. Like, what do you, just come on. I don't understand what you're talking about. Just come on. And then now when she's like, when I'm telling you that's what it feels like, I'm like, I don't want to get back on that ride. So I get it. You know, that was enough for me. It was only 30 seconds long, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
no, it's, I think it's good to have a partner like you, and you have the same, but different as well. You know, you can balance each other out at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think we're coming to find out, like, partnerships in marriage, or a fiance is soon to be married, right?
Next Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, next
Saturday?
Yeah.
That's
Congratulations,
so awesome.
man. That's awesome.
Well, definitely thanks for doing this, because one of you, if not both of you, is probably like, oh my gosh, it's so close. You have so much to do, right?
Oh, yeah, that was another.
Yeah. But partnerships, it's turning out so far with people that we've interviewed is like one of them's either introverted or extroverted, or one really struggles and the other one doesn't. Or if they both do, it's opposite and they have the different triggers. So like, it's almost like we're attracting our opposite.
Well, there's that whole opposites attract.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been said for ages, right?
Yeah, but I've always thought of that as like a tall person and a short person.
I don't think that's what Paula Abdul meant. I don't.
But at the same time, you're the same. You're the same, but because you have the same.
You have the same interests.
Yeah.
Disabilities,
sure.
Per se, but they're also on different levels. Like, I'm very extroverted. She's very introverted. I'm that outgoing. I'm gonna wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, jump on the bed, blah blah blah, and she's the do it again, you die type. You know, like, leave me alone. You know, but at the same time, that's what keeps the relationship strong and healthy, and communication. Hey, I can tell you how I'm feeling, and you're gonna understand that.
Yes.
So when I'm having that feeling, like I'm just so overwhelmed, she can. All right, here's what you need to do. Shut your phone off. Do this. Focus on. You know.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. So has she helped you work through some of those stuffs? Like,
yeah, I mean, the good thing is she works with me, so she,
cool.
You know, she understands this customer, that customer. So when I'm saying, oh, X, Y, Z, she's like, oh yeah, they called too. I'm like, you know, you get it, you know.
Yeah.
So it makes great conversation at home for sure, and
it's good.
Do it again, you die type. You know, like, leave me alone. You know, but at the same time, that's what keeps the relationship strong and healthy, and communication. Hey, I can tell you how I'm feeling, and you're gonna understand that.
Yes.
So when I'm having that feeling, like I'm just so overwhelmed, she can. All right, here's what you need to do. Shut your phone off. Do this. Focus on. You know.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. So has she helped you work through some of those stuffs? Like,
yeah, I mean, the good thing is she works with me, so she,
cool.
You know, she understands this customer, that customer. So when I'm saying, oh, XYZ. She's like, oh yeah, they called too. I'm like, you get it,
Yeah.
So it makes great conversation at home for sure. And
it's good.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't have anything. I'm waiting for you.
Next
Waiting
question.
on me? Waiting on me? I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have any specific questions. That's the crazy part. I mean, you and we've been working together long enough now. We both kind of, I know you well enough to know that, you've got issues. I know you well enough to know that. You know me well enough to know that I've got issues, but,
I was listening to your last podcast about the ADD and that Ritalin, and I was like, that's funny because you taking it does this, I taking it does this.
Exactly.
Just a few weeks ago,
yeah.
I was at home actually it was Saturday, I think. And Katie's like, did you take your medicine today? I'm like, why? No, I didn't actually. Are you trying to say I need to? I get it,
Yeah.
And she's like, remember that feeling from the roller coaster? I'm like, oh, okay. But it has the opposite effect for you. So
yeah, and I've been on. I want to say I've been on every medication that there was out there, but I haven't. But I have tested a lot of medications, and I finally found the one that works great for me. But every one of them had different effects for different reasons. I'm a big proponent of finding a medication that works for you.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that are like, don't ever take medication. You can solve this naturally. You can do that. Maybe not me.
People are afraid of it. They think that it gives them this profile or,
oh my God. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take that medicine. Oh, if I do, I'll do this, just like, and I keep Katie in check. Hey, did you take your medicine? It's okay. Because if you don't take it and you try to do it naturally, why do you want to live that way of life anyways? I'd rather live the way of life that is controlled.
Well, and a lot of people are like, well, it makes me a different person. Well, I hope so. Have you seen the other person you were without it?
Yeah.
I don't take medicine.
No, we know that. No, and I'm not saying that medicine is for everybody.
Want to try?
No, but I did take medicine.
Yeah.
I was super against it for that reason. Well, more for, I guess, living in where we live in Missouri and like the addictive side of things, where I was like, I don't want to be on meds for that reason. So I have a lot of addiction.
Opiate capital of the world.
Well, I have addiction in my family and,
sure.
And Xanax was always like super scary. But then I finally had to, which we talk about in another podcast. So I won't go those details, but so I finally decided to, but then like it robbed my sparkle. That's how I say it. Is like, it wasn't like, I wasn't just not myself. I was like completely like, I was getting, are you okay? Are you depressed? Are you going where people were, nothing was wrong and people were actually checking on me, or when something is wrong, nobody checks on you. Right. So I was like, okay, well, there's clearly a part of my personality that's very lacking. So I went the whole holistic route type thing and the coping skill thing. And what it actually was, because I had never been on ADHD medicine, is I was diagnosed wrongly with anxiety and depression first, and I was on those meds. Yep. Then I did cognitive behavioral therapy, which, by the way, I'll say this again, if you don't know who you are and you're trying to figure it out and you don't know why you are the way you are, definitely encourage you to do that. And that's when they found out that I had ADHD, which was triggering the anxiety and depression. So I get tired on Adderall. It makes me yawn and want to go to bed. Yeah.
Same here.
Really? See, not me. It's the opposite. But if I don't take it, I can't work a focus. Like it's like, that's where I'm like, bing, 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 bing.
Isn't that crazy?
Take it, calm down. But there's no sleeping until it's gone. But
no, I'll go to bed.
I yawn as soon as it hits. I yawn and I'm like, oh, I could so take the best nap ever right now.
But I think you're right. There is so much misdiagnosis, right? So anxiety, depression. So when I was going through it, and it took a lot of medicines, I was taking, I remember the names of them, but they're, I had a guy tell me I had explosive temperament disorder. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't think you're right. Like, that's not what I'm dealing with here. You know, so he would put me on this medicine. I was like a zombie. And it was just like, hey, there's a body, but who are you? So I took myself off that. And it was just, and then it was anxiety, depression, this, but it was the ADHD Adderall that fixed all of that. So, and my doctor even told me that, and luckily I found one that was finally like, hey, this is.
And the crazy part is some people don't have to stay on medicine very long. It's just to kind of get them over that hump or whatever they're feeling. And once they get past it, they can cope with things and they know how to do it, but they're like stuck in this lull. Like their body doesn't know how to get past that point. So you give it a little boost and bam, you're fine. Other people like me, if I'm not on it, I am not me. I mean, there is something drastically wrong with me at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's life threatening at that point. So
and I did what you did is I stopped taking it for a few years, and even the doctor's like, okay, you know, you don't need it. I'm like, I don't think you're right about it. But so I stopped taking it. But then when I went back to it, it's like night and day difference. You know,
Yeah.
how you've got that motivation, that drive, that key element that you were missing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when Ryan doesn't take his ADHD, he is like angry almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's necessarily like his body. I can't imagine his body's withdrawing it. Maybe because he takes it every day. So maybe that's part of it. But like he's very temperamental. And that's not my husband. My husband don't care boo about anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like say what you want, do what you want. He don't really care. So when he is like a little on edge, I'll say to him, I know it's Saturday, but did you take a medicine today? Maybe we should go get that.
It's funny you say that because I'll be the same way. If I miss a day, like by the end of the day, my wife's like, "You okay? What are you mad at?" And I'm like, "I'm not mad at anything. Leave me alone." It's like I'm fine.
Now I'm mad.
Why are you asking me that? The audacity.
That's pretty wild.
I love that though.
So what's one of your ways to? I mean, you said when you get home at night, you like instantly want to go to sleep, right? How do you decompress though? Say you get home, you take your nap, but you're up. What are you doing at that point? I mean, how do you decompress? We already know you don't turn your phone off. So,
I mean, just to me, it's just relaxing, you know, just having that quality time at home and just, you know, me and Katie talk a lot. It's a lot of that just communication aspect, you know, we're so busy. And it's like,
being present, like just in your life, your day-to-day life. Yeah.
I like to, she's more true crime. I'm more, you know, just watching. I like to watch TV. Like I need the TV on to kind of just settle my mind, whether it's sports or, you know, whatever, it's a movie, show, whatever. By the way, American Nightmare.
Good one, huh?
Oh,
I'm stuck on Green Acres right now.
Just came out on Netflix yesterday. It's pretty good.
Did you? Okay.
I watch reality TV or Yellowstone, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yellowstone too.
Yeah, Yellowstone's good.
But just getting into a good show. I mean, I used to read. I do love reading. I wish I got more into reading, but it's like, do I have time to read this? Problem is once I start, I don't want to stop.
Yes.
So
yes.
I can't focus long enough to read.
Really? See, my imagination is so good that when I read, I can picture everything. So it's like watching a movie.
I can do that, but it's like I just lose interest because it's like I feel like I can always be doing something else, like building something or whatever. And
reading's the only way to exercise your brain muscle.
I 100% agree with you.
They read books all the time.
100% agree with you. I can't focus long enough to read a book.
I was the same way growing up, and I started reading, and I was like, wow. I loved it. I mean, because I think it's I used to be able to like read a book, but not get anything out of it.
Really?
Like I would read all the words and get through the end, and then like, now give me the cliff notes. I'm like, I don't know. Like I didn't. I would say I don't know how to read, like how to comprehend what I'm reading. Do I know how to read? Of course I know how to read, but I don't know how to comprehend it.
Yeah.
And I think it was the focus factor.
So book reports were horrible for you.
Oh yeah, I even took novel class in high school, and I was
seriously.
Yeah. And I didn't even like reading. I was
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Novel class you don't like to read. You can't comprehend that.
Well, I thought I could get the cliff notes, but all the questions weren't. So I'd have to like skim through it and be like, oh, that person. But I still couldn't comprehend it. Now I could pick up a book and read it through and be like, well, that was 10 times better than the movie.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's also the problem though that comes with that is being able to read a book and have imagination, because then they put the movie out. They miss all the key parts of the book. Right. And then who was in your mind is not who's on screen. So you're like, oh, dang, that's been ruined for me. I'll just read it.
So I stopped reading for that. But no, just I think getting home. I mean, the problem is I don't like to sit in the living room on the couch. I like to be in my room.
Oh, yes.
It's like I want to be on my bed, even if I'm just fully clothed with my boots on, feet up. I have a huge TV in the living room, and we just never sit in there. It's like I'm gonna go in my room.
You validated me so much when you said
me too.
That.
Just now,
I was so happy because Ryan and I go rounds around. Like it'll be like 6, 7 o'clock, and I'll go upstairs and sit on our bed. Same thing, big TV, cozy couches. But I want to be upstairs.
You've got really cozy couches.
Yeah, like I'll look at my watch and be like, okay, is it socially acceptable to go to my room right now?
At 4 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he's always like, I'm not going to bed. I go, I'm not sleeping. I'm watching TV up here. He wants to be sitting I'm so glad you said that because I thought, am I the only weirdo that's like waiting for the sun to go
No,
down
I'm
so
the
I can go
same way.
upstairs and like
I'm
relax?
trying to get the kids. I'm like, okay, guys, it's 5 o'clock. Is it bedtime yet? And I want to go. I want to go lay down.
I'm so grateful you said that.
But at the same time, if I'm in my room, my door has to be open. You know,
Mhm.
that's a childhood trauma. Like I remember getting home from school and going home, and my parents would be in the room, the door is closed, and we're outside knocking.
Yes.
Like, come out, come out, come out. So I can't close my door.
Yeah, we don't either.
Ever.
No.
It's always open. You know, even at
They
late
say
at
to
night when I
sleep at
close it, I
night.
can't close
They
it.
say to sleep at night
Yeah.
with your door closed because of fires, but I can't. Our door is always open.
Yep.
Kids are always welcome to come in and out. There's no closed doors when it comes to that stuff at our house.
We close at nighttime just because I know the fire thing.
Yeah.
But before I knew the fire thing, we never closed
Yeah.
our door.
I don't know the fire thing. I just leave it open.
You're
You're
less
supposed to.
likely the
Yeah.
fire will stay contained in the hallway if you keep the doors closed. When they're open, that's when they get into the
You
room.
seen how much
faster.
wood is at my house? You really think it's going to stay contained in the hallway?
See the other, but see, I can't. My daughter sleepwalks like crazy, scary.
Really?
Oh, scary. I remember one night I was laying there. I was like, "Was that the front door?" I literally grabbed my pistol, ran down the hallway, and my daughter's standing there. I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "What are you doing?" Like, "What are you doing? Did you just go outside?" She had no idea where she was at. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's sleepwalking." So doors open, I can see their rooms.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Oh my God.
it's terrifying.
How scary is that?
Oh, for sure.
Oh my gosh, I'd have locks at the top of the doors.
Well, that's what they said to do. And I read about it, and they said that when kids sleepwalk, they tend to go outside.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things. They go outside, or they go to like the garage,
Mhm.
go to the steps, like places that you would.
Oh, like the worst places in the world to be sleepwalking.
Oh, for sure.
And
Oh
they
my
don't even know
gosh.
they're doing it. It's crazy. Like my youngest, it's almost nightly. I've had to figure out ways to not. If we leave her TV on with no volume, she won't do it. If we turn the TV off, within 30, 45 minutes, she's scary.
It'd be horrible to wake up and there's a butchered cow in the living room because she sleepwalked.
Brothers were there.
That's what you think about. I think about her like going in the front yard and playing ball in the dark. Like,
No,
what do
I'm
you think
thinking she's
about
got
her?
like a
Going out,
deer.
not coming back. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking she went out and slaughtered a deer and she brought it back in the living room. Now he's got a deer hanging up in the.
Well, I live in a subdivision with other houses, not in the country with no houses.
That does not.
You still live in the
stop
same. I've been in your house, right? Over by by B and B.
Fallon.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Somebody
that
else.
was in Winsville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In O'Fallon now.
So what's that like then, right? So you have all these additional stressors that we don't have. Like my kids, so far, I haven't created any mental illnesses in them, thank God. But like,
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, you brought me those shirts. I was like,
Yeah.
when did you come to my house? You
Yeah,
brought
yeah,
those
yeah.
Freedom 13 shirts. or whatever.
yes,
That's what it was.
yes,
Yeah.
But you have normal stressors. The person you love is at home. Multiple people you love at home, but the person you love at home struggles with anxiety. Then your kids have this. I mean, what is that? That's not a mental thing, is it for them? It's just part of how they're wired, their brain.
Sleepwalking.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it when I was a kid.
Did
They
you
just say
really?
they say it's common. It's like some 70% of kids. do it.
Really?
I don't know what. I mean, I was bad. Like I would stand at the top of my steps and pee down the steps.
Oh my
I
goodness.
I've done that when I was drunk.
would. Same thing.
Okay.
I remember one time I was out of town on a baseball tournament and woke up in my boxers in the elevator with the lobby doors open. And I was like, where am I at? You know, like I was
Oh
pretty
my
bad. So,
But when I tell you I would be a nervous wreck if I worked
I don't
all
mean
day.
to laugh, but that's pretty fun.
No, it is funny.
It is funny, but it's also now
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of it and I'm seeing it happen at home. So it's a scary aspect.
Yeah, but as a parent, like, because I'm an early riser like you, I'm ready to go. Like, let's listen to music. We're going, right?
Guys are weird.
But if I had the additional
6 o'clock in
stress,
the morning.
yeah,
No.
if I had the additional stressors of like my kiddos doing that, I don't know if I'd be able to sleep at night at all. I think I might be.
Do you have alarms and things on your doors?
No, I mean the dog usually now will like
Oh, good.
sleep with her, let us know. And the dog has every mental anxiety that you can think of too. It's just that's running in and around all night long. It's
That's funny. That's actually becoming more and more common. We're
100%.
seeing that a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so Katie brought the dog. It was her dog first, and it's a spitting resemblance of Katie's personality. It's the craziest
that
thing in
something?
the world. It's
Man.
like that's Katie's dog,
Yeah.
and love her to death. But it's like she's zinging throughout the middle of the night, or she has to be like if Katie's a little bit up, like she's been sick.
Yeah.
She'll sit at the end of the bed just like
I
she's
love
fine, you know. So
Wow.
but the
That's pretty
dogs
cool.
definitely
that. I love that.
imitate or mock that personality for sure.
That's wild.
And dog helps with the kiddos. That's good.
100%. It's like we get the kids 50% of the time. So when they're not there, she's mopey. She like lays on the floor like she's like the saddest dog in the world. So we have to open up Sawyer's room to let her go in there and sleep on her bed, and she will sleep in there because she's not there.
Oh,
That's
look at
pretty
you
cool.
helping your dog have coping skills. I love it. It's so sweet. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back because I do want to talk about the trauma stuff if you're open to have that. Because I know
that's something I've had to deal with for a long time. The family. I mean, I haven't seen my family in 20 years, but
we got a lot to talk about.
It's definitely needed. Yeah, but I think that's what rolls into the mental side of the thing. I mean, there's a lot of just worry from that. Like, just even I'm getting married next Saturday, and I mean, this is probably going to be on the air. Somebody's going to listen to it, but whatever. I just fear one of the family members showing up at the venue because it's at a public venue, and it's like, I mean, fear to the point where it doesn't affect my everyday life anymore, but it did for a very, very long time, a very long time. And now it's like you show up, you're going to look stupid on your part, not me. But it's like you still have that worry, that angst,
the anticipation of like they could potentially do this to me.
And this is an exciting time, but that it's in the back. It's just sitting there.
Man.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to come back, and we'll have to talk about trauma with him.
I like it.
Yeah, because when you open, a lot of people will mention their childhood trauma, and if they do, it's always, I feel like those people are just like make it an excuse for themselves. We're like, were they really that bad, or you just didn't like to be told no, kind of thing.
See, I didn't realize I had that childhood trauma until I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And then you start looking, even today. I mean, I start finding more and more. I'm like, you know what? That's probably why I do this, or that's probably why I didn't realize that was a problem. Just like the closed door thing, that was normal.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'm not doing that to my kids because I know how I feel now, and I'm 37 years old.
Yeah. Well, so I learned about my childhood trauma more in depth when I did that therapy I was talking about. But I think I used to like pick up on that it was a normal childhood when I would tell stories as a joke, like the way how I would be whipped with a belt, and people would be like, they'd give like this weird look. They wouldn't say anything, give a weird look, and I'd be like, "Oh, not normal, not you too, okay." Like just me.
I got whipped with a paddle. My mom had a paddle with holes in it.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Quick story, funny. I remember I was like 14. She made me bend over, pull my pants down. She was gonna whoop me. I don't even remember what I did. Probably nothing bad, and she spanked me, and it didn't hurt. And so I walked away, and I was like, she's like, "Get back!" I'm like, "Oh, that was stupid. Why did I?" Then it did hurt. I could have got away scot-free, but no, my stupidness.
Well, that's the part people cringe at when I say like they would say go to your room and pull your pants down on your ankles and bend over the bed, but they would leave you there for like an hour, right?
What?
Yeah, but it's the pants pulled down around the ankle that would get people, and they'd be like. So I'm like, also not alone in that. Yeah. So if you're listening, come back when Don does his part 2.
Okay, just for clarification, none of us are psychiatrists or psychologists either. We're not here to.
No.
We're not here to help with that part of it. We are here to make aware of the fact that you're not the only one dealing with this.
Oh, of course.
I think that's probably why I reached out. Hearing you've only had 3 episodes. And I started
by the time you reached out. Yeah. There was only a couple episodes.
I'd only seen little clip bits. I hadn't even seen full episodes when we talked. But I think you're not a psychiatrist, but so many people harbor it, and I did for so long.
Absolutely,
I harbored it and it tore me to pieces on the inside, and it made me agitated and aggressive and ruined friendships and relationships and all that stuff. So if people listen. And they know it's okay to talk about it.
That's the whole point to all of this is that we want to make people know that it's okay to talk. We're all here to listen. What you're going through, you're not the only one.
If you want to judge on it, I don't care. I don't need you in my life. I think you said when we were in marketing and you were you had said something like, maybe it's on your TikTok because you're very open and you talk about that. And you're like, I don't care what you think about it. No, I don't need you. You're not in my life anyway.
Yeah,
so
you're not. I wake up every day and don't think about you. Yeah,
to get it out.
Yeah,
not for you.
Well, I think what people misunderstand about trauma too is like who you are, how you were raised has a big effect on who you are as an adult and those relationships. And if you don't fix trauma and understand that about yourself, you will take that trauma into every relationship. And even if it's like one like singular person that caused a lot of trauma in your life, you will meet that version of that person over and over again in friendships and business relationships. So when how it correlates to businesses, like if you haven't figured that out and you deal with a lot of stuff, like you said, the anger or the outbursts or whatever, if you don't have those ironed out, it's going to make that road way harder for you.
Well,
yeah.
I'm 37 years old and I still deal with family members reaching out, and it's like I feel like I'm a little kid, but
yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'm in a groove, I'm selling pools, I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden I get that text, and I'm like, just leave me alone. Like,
yeah, right.
So how long has it been? Just leave me alone. There's no. You think I'm just gonna be like, oh, I love you? No, wrong. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Why am I living rent free in your head? Because you've been evicted from mine a long time ago. You know? Awesome. Well, Don, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. How do we find you or Blue Haven?
Blue Haven Pools of St. Louis.com. If you're looking for just a bid or getting, this is a really funny market. You know, I always tell you, anybody can build a pool for say, right? Especially since COVID. I'm sure in your industry too. Anybody can come out and give you
anybody that's gone and bought a set of bags at Home Depot is a carpenter.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm not going to be the cheapest. I'm not going to be the most expensive, but one thing we take pride in and at Blue Haven is we are 100% all in. So when we do bid it, accounting for everything that these other places aren't going to tell you about. And if we miss it, we got to pay for it. If I make a mistake, I'm paying.
That's the best thing I love about you guys at Blue Haven is we're the same way at Epic. We're all in. When you get that number, that is what it's going to be. And if there's something wrong or something that wasn't, we're paying for it. And that's why we make a hell of a partnership when we're building these things.
We've got 2 active ones right now.
I think so. Yep. I think so. Yeah.
When's the earliest you can come out for a bid though?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
We're pretty so timeline's been cut down. You know, when I started doing marketing, stopped doing it because, you know, we're 12-18 months out.
Yeah.
You buy a pool today, we're digging in April, May. You know, we cut that timeline down. We're moving pretty quick. We did 116 pools as a company last year, which is more than anybody in the market.
That's insane.
So bids can get to you. I can get to you right away. That's the other thing is I don't push them out. Like if you call me today, I'm going to get to you as soon as. That's the downfall of the mental side. Like I can't schedule you 3 weeks out. I'm booked 5 appointments a day. I'm like, I can squeeze you in right here. You know, like,
oh my God.
It's terrible. It's awful.
Honey, hold the chicken. I'll be back in a minute.
That's what happens. It's terrible. You know, I'll be 5 appointments deep. I'm like, yes, I can get to you. Yeah. But again, maybe that's the other part of
hence the reason he said, well, tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it has a huge, effect on the success that you've had too. But at some point you're going to have to probably
kick back a little bit.
Yeah. Relax. Just a little at a time. So I always tell my husband one thing, first Saturdays, then Sundays, then vacation.
With COVID, we've gotten pretty lucky. Weekends haven't been needed in a long time. So it's kind of nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you. You guys know how to reach out to Don. And then, of course, catch the replay and the full version on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so you get notifications every time a new episode is uploaded on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. And
go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah,
we're going to say it one time.
Someday.
Thank you for listening to Mental Mismanagement. We're perfectionists for losers, and we're just winging it.